Hello, my beautiful friends. Seidel Schultz here, vocal intuitive and light-filled astrologer, and we are talking today about Chiron in our natal charts. And specifically, we're talking about Chiron in the fifth house. So this is the house of creativity. So Chiron represents our biggest wound and also where we can be a healer. So Chiron is the wounded healer. And I want to talk about this. So as I was listening to Chiron, as a vocal intuitive, I have the gift of hearing, clairaudient, and as I listen to people's natal charts, as I look at them and I read them, I'm really listening to hear what the planets are saying. And what I heard Chiron saying in every single chart is Jesus. I heard Jesus. And I heard this is where Jesus is, and this is where we can experience Jesus the most personally in our lives. And so I'm excited to do this series. I'm excited to share what I hear as we talk about Jesus in the fifth house. So Jesus in the fifth house is really about bringing some healing to our creativity and bringing us to this place where we can be so creative um, and really create the world that we desire. The other day, I was just reading my scriptures, and gosh, I can't even remember the reference that I was reading, but I I read this scripture, and it kind of opened my eyes to a new thing. I've thought a lot about the atonement and how the atonement really helps us with our sins. The atonement helps us with things that we are struggling with, whether that's because of us or because of someone else, right? And the atonement can even help us in our joy. But one of the things that I hadn't really been thinking most directly about was how Jesus helps us create. And as I read this scripture, wish I could remember the reference at the moment. But as I was reading it, I remembered that Jesus was a part of the creation. Jesus created the world. And if Jesus created the world, then he can help me create whatever it is that I'm desiring to create. And here it is the same with Chiron in the fifth house. What is it that you're wanting to create? Where is your wound with creation? Is that with sexuality? Like and and sexiness or having sex? Is there a wound there in that kind of creativity, in that kind of a way? Is there a wound with children, like with your children or being a child? I think a lot of us have child wounds. This is specifically, we're talking about Chiron in the fifth house. And and wow, um, Jesus can heal our creativity and help bring us to the place where we can have better creativity. So this is what we're going to talk about today is Jesus in the fifth house and what he brings depending on the sign that Chiron is sitting in. So we're just going to do a quick rundown of all the different signs. So hang in with me while we go through all those and wait for your sign to show up. Okay, so Chiron in Aries, the woundedness in this Aries place and what Jesus can bring to us as we really step into that. Aries is fantastic and is so very much this, it's a fireball. It's a great fireball and it is full of passion. Which is there anything better when it comes to creativity than having passion? I don't know. I don't know that there is because passion literally creates. And it's this brand new, like Aries, obviously Aries is very spring energy. It's when spring begins. Um, and this is it. Like passion sparks creativity. And so in this way, Jesus is helping bring this passion back to your creative space so that you can be and do and just really fulfill in this creativeness. Taurus. Taurus is this energy that's very grounded. And in the groundedness, it creates abundance. And that is glorious. Every time I see Taurus, I see a tree. And what is a tree? A tree is grounded, right? But a tree is also reaching to heaven and it is filled with so many leaves. Like there is an abundance. Hopefully, if the tree is doing well and the tree is thriving, there is an abundance of either needles or there is an abundance of leaves, like countless. I would not want to sit and count all the leaves on the trees. And this to me is what Jesus brings to the fifth house for those that are in Taurus, is this ability to be grounded and then create in abundance, and not in chaos, but in this beautiful, um gosh, it's just, I can see it in my mind. It's just this beautiful energy of like, and there's a place for you, and there's a place for you, and there's a place for you. It's like order without being super Virgo, because Virgo is like this very detailed, like everything has its place, right? But this is just like, and it's just going to be that, being in a different way than maybe Aries would be. Okay, so that is Chiron in Taurus in the fifth house. Next, we have Gemini. Gemini to me, Gemini's blessed. And oh my gosh, I just hear, this is what I hear. Oh, I love doing these so much because I really get to experience hearing it as I'm doing these videos, and it's so much fun. Gemini is so communicative. And Gemini is so intelligent. And it just feels like, when if you have Chiron in the fifth house and you are letting Jesus like really be personal in this house with you, and is sitting in this Gemini, it feels like this ability to really communicate your creativity. I love that. Like speak it and speak it, and speak to it. Like that's what it feels like to me, is like speaking to your creativity and having this conversation with it. Okay, and now how do we bring it into existence? Okay, I see you, and now what's the next step? And now what's the next step? And it's just this constant um, energy of communication back and forth between you and your creativity. And that is how you succeed. That is how you succeed in your creativity. How beautiful is that? Okay, the next one on the list is Cancer. I I love this. And the thing that I think, and I think two things here with Cancer. One, creativity doesn't always necessarily look like being an artist. Like I was like, oh, I'm not creative at all because I cannot draw. Like stick figures are my max, right? But that's not what that's not, I mean, creativity is far more than that. And like I said at the beginning of the video, your creative center, this could also be sex and healing sex, and allowing your intimate moments to be um, nurtured, and to experience them in a very nurturing way. That feels hopeful. And to be able to experience creativity in a really nurturing way, not just for you, but for others as well. When we step in, like Chiron is the wounded healer. So when we step into this place and we invite Jesus to be in this place with us, then we also step into this place of being that healer, and and uh, and offering the healing in that sort of way. So when we are standing in this creative um, place and we're nurturing, other people are going to experience what we've created in a nurturing way. Does that sound like the most amazing thing ever? The more I talk about these, I'm like, I just wish a Chiron was in all my houses. Like it might be a little bit crazy. That would be crazy if I had Chiron in all of the houses, but it feels I'm like, oh, I would love that. That would be so amazing. And so I just want to stop and say here, like, as you like, say to myself and anyone else that's feeling this way, as you step into this place where you are finding the healing in the area, in the house that your Chiron is in, it will be so much easier for you to spread that healing throughout the rest of your chart. And can I just say, hello, to that. I totally want that so much. Okay, so our next sign is Leo. Okay, Leo, oh my gosh. Leo is so expressive. I'm on a Leo moon right here, so can you see that? Like all of the things. So Leo, very expressive, very bright, very shiny, and it's like, oh, I just love it. It's like this place where Leo can be like, I just made that. I just made that. And and they allow their creativity to really shine instead of sitting back and being like, I just did that. I just did that. I don't want to look at that. I just did that. Um, and that is this transformation between that, this ability to be bright and shiny about what we've created instead of have the shame around what we are. And I just think, oh gosh, it's just like creativity and sex. Like I just keep going back to that. So you have this ability um, to be sexy and to be expressive with your intimacy and in intimacy. Yes, it's so good. It creates more of a connection between you and your partner. And so as we like allow Jesus to come in and heal these wounds personally with us, this is what he is bringing to us in this area. Okay, so let's talk next about Virgo. Virgo is fantastic. Virgo, man, I just I just hear so many great things in Virgo, like this ability to be detailed, but also I want to say oracle clarity, like an oracle, like they're just like speaking these things into existence, like and being to me, it's just like being in the space of creativity and speaking it into existence as you're like creating. Does that make sense to you? Like the flow is just there. And as you create, it's just like dumping out onto the page or dumping out onto the piano or whatever instrument or whatever space you're crocheting or whatever that space of creativity is like that it's just this place where you're just receiving so much information. Even like I know people will receive downloads when they're having sex. Like that is a possible thing. And that feels like how amazing, how amazing. I'm doing these videos and I really want you to see the gift that you are and the gift that Chiron is to you in your house because it's amazing. Okay, so the next one is Libra. Libra, Libra is Libra is so fantastic. One of the things that I love about Libra is this ability. Like when I very first heard Libra, I was like, dude, girl, you could just be like, you look like poop today. And I'd be like, really? Thank you. Thank you for telling me that. I I really value that so much. Nobody's told me that today, and now I can do something about it. Like that's what Libra feels like. Is like bringing this balance. Like I know it's funny. Like Libra brings balance, but they also can really just say, "Okay, you don't look great. We're gonna get you there. We're going to get you to looking great. But in order to do that, we have to be able to see where you're at so that we can then balance the scale. Like I'm doing this, like balance the scale, right? One has to come up while the other comes down. And that is this balancing energy. Like Jesus brings that balance into your creativity. He brings it into your sexuality and your intimacy, your sex. Ugh, it's just so yum, so yummy. The next sign we're going to talk about is Scorpio. Hey, I just want to say, hey, hey, Scorpio, you gorgeous Scorpio thing. Scorpio is such a deep, it's like, hey, baby, like that kind of energy with Scorpio, and it feels so good. And it feels so deep. Scorpio very much is this energy of internal movement. So when I listen to someone who has their moon in Scorpio, the moon representing our sound, right? When someone is sitting in their moon sound, what I experience is movement in my body. It's pretty incredible. And so when you have Chiron sitting in Scorpio in the fifth house, you're creating movement. You are creating movement with your creations. I'm like talking like inner movement. That feels amazing to be able to create that, not just for you, but for others as well. This place where you're like shifting things on the inside. I hope that you can see this, especially those that have Scorpio in the fifth house, this place where, and I'm sure we've all experienced this at some point in our life where we see something or we hear something, and then it just, I can feel it in my body right now. It just moves the inside of us, and all of a sudden we feel different because of something that we have experienced. And this is what Jesus is bringing in the Scorpio energy. Okay, let's talk about Sagittarius. Sagittarius very much is this, Sagittarius is so bright. A Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's an arrow as I see it, and it is an arrow straight to the heart. And so this place where I just see like creativity, like your creativity hitting you in the heart. And it's just like zing, and then it explodes and it hits other people in the heart, and you can see it. Oh, I am loving this so much. You can see it, you can see your experience, you can see creativity, like you see it in your mind, and then you create it with your heart, and it just like hits and then explodes. How beautiful is that? So this is what Jesus is bringing as you allow him to step into your healing, as you allow him to become this personal part of your life and not just a story in the Bible or a story in the scriptures or a song that you sing about, but a personal experiencing, like personally experience Jesus in your creation, your creativity. How amazing. Okay, last three, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Capricorn, oh, Capricorn is amazing. So Capricorn is that very much like the successful energy. We're gonna go, we're gonna do, we're gonna get it done. I want it like this, I want it like that. Just have it as it should be, right? I actually really love that. Like this is as it should be, as it should be. And and as I say that, and and bringing Jesus back in, it's like he shows you how it should be. He's showing you how to create. He is showing you how to experience success in creation, in creativity. He's showing you how to experience success in sex, in intimacy, like in this place, like it's success. Capricorn just wants success, and Jesus just wants you to experience that. Okay, Aquarius. So we're talking, and I want to bring this back. I'm going to bring it back around to what it is that we are really discovering here. What we're really talking about here is when we allow Jesus to bring healing into our lives and specifically into our creativity, if we have Chiron in the fifth house, this is what our like when we get there, when we're healed, um, or we're experiencing healing in this area of our lives, this is what we're going to experience. We're going to experience this energy that I've been talking about, whether it's Aries or Scorpio or Cancer or anything like that. Okay, so Aquarius. Let's talk about Aquarius. I love Aquarius people. Aquarius people are just really able to be authentically themselves from the word go. And I love that. So the ability to be you in your creativity, the ability to show up and allow that creativity to be whatever it needs to be in that moment, no matter what it looks like. That's pretty incredible. And that's what Jesus brings in Aquarius, if your Chiron is sitting in Aquarius in the fifth house. Okay, last but not least is Pisces. Pisces is very much to me already naturally a Jesus energy. And I think like all the energies are Jesus, right? Because Jesus is all of these things. Jesus can be all of these things. He can be very Scorpio. But traditionally what we think of when we think of Pisces and what we think of when we think of Jesus is a very in tune, is very like this intuitive energy, very divine energy, very heavenly. And those are all words that I would use to describe Pisces, like heavenly, intuitive. Um, it just feels like a life jacket in the ocean, so you can survive. And to have that energy, like this energy of this very intuitive energy with our creativity, this intuitive energy um with our sex and our sex life, you know, and to have this really it seems weird, right? To kind of say like incorporating heaven and sex. I heard this one time said gosh, I probably shouldn't even quote it because I can't remember it exactly, but it talked about you being one in marriage with um, God, right? So the three of you together. So when you're in your bed, God is there too. And so that seems like a little bit weird, but it creates this ability to be so in tune and intuitive with yourself and your body and your spouse or your partner and their body, like really have this ability to do that, and this ability to be in tune with your creation. And I really love that because I think that there is a space where we really get to honor what wants to be created and how it wants to be created. And that is the energy that Jesus is bringing in this Pisces place as we look at Chiron in the fifth house. And that's the wrap. That's all of the houses. Just is Jesus in creativity. So this is where we are going. This is what we will experience as we allow Jesus to come personally into our lives. So I'm saying start by asking, what's my next step, Jesus, in healing my creativity? What's my next step, Jesus, in healing my intimate relationship and healing intimacy, specifically sex? If this is where your wound is at, if this is where your major wound is at. Okay, like and subscribe for more videos. I've got houses number 6 through 12 left to do for Chiron, as well as a Venus series coming up and a Neptune series, which I'm really excited to talk about how that shows up in our voice. So when we experience healing in our life, that will impact our sound and it will impact our communication and our expression, not just with our voice, but with our entire soul. Okay, I love you. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.